Hey folks, Nico here. Welcome to Fire Emblem Heroes. Today, I wanted to go over the latest update. I usually don't do this kind of stuff all the time anymore. And that's usually just because most of the updates just don't really have that much that I'm interested in. But this one in particular does, because it has a couple refines of characters that I have. And it also involves an update to a character that I have, being Igrene. They're finally getting her fixed, or buffed, or whatever you want to say. And I decided to just go over that update, and as always, start with the refines. So, we're going to start off with the two that I do have, being Leaf and Rebecca. I actually do not have Cordelia and Henry, even though they're 3 to 4 star summonable units. I just don't have them, and if I do ever get them, I tend to just send them home. So, bummer on me for not foreseeing the refine of those two. But I do know what they get. So, for Rebecca, she has Rebecca's bow, which is just a 14 might slaying bow. That's good, that's fine. She can pop off this Luna on people, and that's good for me, for my little Rebecca here, plus attack, darting blow. It's a decent effect. Actually, it's really good effect. It already makes her a lot better than she already was. But next, her refine is this. If a bonus is granted by a skill like Rally or Hone is active on unit, it grants attack, speed, defense, and resistance +4 during combat, which is good. It's a little plain. I'm used to seeing it, but my words aside, this is good for her. Basically, if I were to refine this and run this on my Rebecca, that's like 10 extra speed if she initiates, 51 attack. I can run whatever else I want in this seal slot here. You could do Desperation and Flashing Blade here, and then she can pop off some Lunas. Well, she's in range. You can even tack on Fury, I guess, if you want to do that, which is good. Rebecca's a bit more of a damage dealer now. She's got more stats. That's good. Because I hardly even saw her. So it's good. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to refine her weapon. I don't really use Rebecca that much in general. But I guess every now and then I tend to use archers whenever I've seen it in Legendary Azura. And well, it helps to have someone who can just shoot her down. Next we have Leaf. I'm telling my voice, but alright. So as you can see, it didn't change at all, the main effect. But it did gain 2 effects, being that it accelerates special trigger, cooldown count -1, which means Bonfire will go to 2, cooldown permanently. And at the start of combat, if the foe's HP is equal to 100%, it grants speed and defense +4 to the unit during combat. I was hoping that he would get that adaptive damage thing that we all thought Lightbrand would have when he first debuted or was revealed. And even if it was like adaptive damage against ranged units, like with the Dragon's Breaths, that would have been just fine. That would have been giving him something if he were to run Distant Counter or Distant Ward and things of the like. I'm also kind of bummed out that it's not +4 to all of his stats. I mean, we just got Shannon and Larce, and they have +4 or +5 to all their stats, in addition to slaying, negating buffs, negating penalties, things like that. But I guess this is fine. He can keep that res defense, that shining effect. Well, but still, this is good. This is good. I'm still going to be bummed out about it, but this is good. He can start doing some special spamming now, effectively. If you were to forego S-Strength here and give him like Special Spiral, and maybe something else, you can give him Special Spiral here, get the party started with like Flashing Blade, Heavy Blade, one of them. If you're going to go the expensive route, you can go like Flashing Blade 2. And you can like just pop off these bonfires, or you can run Ignis with a Quick Impulse or something, Infantry Pulse. You can even try some AoEs, some Blazing Wind, Blazing Flame, and all that. If you do that with Special Spiral and like Flashing Blade, I think you're gonna want to use Flashing Blade over Heavy Blade if you're gonna do that with Leaf. I think his speed is more reliable than his attack. Although if you're doing AoE builds, you want to get as much attack as you can. So that's a bit of a suggestion. It works. You can kind of be like Ares, which is funny because Sigurd, Eldigan, and Quan, and you got Leaf and Selif and Ares, you know. Now, as for Henry and Cordelia, I already said that I don't have them. I wish I kind of did, but I do actually remember what their refines are like. So with Alencia, and actually I'm going to go to my gallery here because I actually took a picture. And Cordelia's Lance is a 10 might weapon. It inflicts speed -2, but if she initiates combat, she gets to attack twice. This is pretty much a brave weapon, except it's 1 less might for some reason. And I assume the reason is because of the refine effect. As you can see, it says at start of combat, if the unit's HP is greater than or equal to 70%, she gets +4 to her attack and speed during combat. It's an HP threshold for a Swiss Sparrow-like effect, but the Swiss Sparrow-like effect can happen on both the player phase and the enemy phase, so long as she has enough HP. It's good. It's something for the enemy phase too. It's weird that they gave her something like that, though, for an HP threshold. Only other 10 might brave weapon out there, I think, is Altina with the Ragnell along that crap. I think it would have been better if they just left it as like Swiss Sparrow or something. Like, this is a good weapon. And maybe there is some applications to where you can just like reliably use this on like the enemy phase. Like if you made Cordelia slightly more defensive, you could use something like that. And we do have like Swiss Sparrow 2 as a seal now. So you can go like steady stance or attack defense bond and the Eddie slot, and then Swiss Sparrow and the seal slot. Got something for both the enemy phase and the player phase, I guess. I'm only just spitting things out here. Spitballing here. And maybe you probably might want some wards or in defense tactic and whatnot. Because I don't remember Cordelia's bulk being that high. Defense and resistance being that good. But I might be wrong. People normally run Fire Sweep, Lance, and Life and Death on her, so I might just remember it too. I might not remember it too well due to Life and Death. But moving on to Henry, who I think actually has like the best one here, with the next one being like Rebecca, is Corvus Tome, which is basically a 14 might Raven Tome, but it grants a weapon triangle advantage against colorless foes. And the refine is that at the start of combat, if foe's attack is greater than or equal to unit's attack +3, so if they have more attack than Henry, it inflicts attack and inflicts attack and resistance -6 on the foe during combat, and a special cooldown charge of -1 on the foe per attack, which is good. It's basically guard, and he's actually going to debuff his opponent really hard there. This helps him both in tanking and dealing damage, which is good, because Henry's attack is really, really bad. Back in the day, before skill inheritance, oof. And like during the first week of the game was out, Henry was like one of the mages who I just used a lot. He did nothing for damage, really. But when the Igrene is activated, boy, it was big damage. It's a pretty good weapon, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to go with it. And now, enemy phase Henry's might be a little bit scarier now, which is cool. I was going to show Alencia and Selena since their effects are similar to what Cordelia and Henry got. But I decided to just show them instead. And after that, we're going to go to Aetherades and check on Igrene. And what I like to call the testing site. Alright, so Igrene's weapon, the Guardian's Bow, had a bit of a problem where it said, it basically functioned like Flashing Blade, where if it said if unit speed is greater than the foe's speed, that's it. That was like the first sentence of what the main thing said. Meaning, it implied it worked like Flashing Blade, where if you just have higher attack or higher speed than your opponent, you get the effect. No matter what, whether it's in combat or out of combat. If unit speed is greater than foe speed. And then it was inflict, attack, speed, and defense -5 on the foe. What it didn't say, however, was that it only took into account the base value of Igrene's speed, and it didn't take into account things like in-combat speed. So right here, my Igrene's speed says 49. That's what it used to only take into account. Now, it says if unit speed is greater than foe speed at start of combat or during combat, inflicts attack, speed, defense -5 on foe during combat. And there's this also little bit here where if unit and foe both have this weapon equipped, effect is calculated first for whoever initiates combat. So in the cases where you would run into an enemy Igrene, you know how that interaction will work. And I'll demonstrate this by using some of my fastest units. We have Carla with 44 speed, Norn with 45 speed, Lonku with 51 speed, and of course Igrene with 45 speed. I do indeed have 2 Igrene. Oh wait, no, that's the Light Blessed one. I have an Astro Blessed one, but I guess I swapped her out. Alright, so I'm going to keep Ashton away from her so that she doesn't interfere, with any kind of buffing situations here.
The glimmer of life. Think I'll scare him?
Alright. So, as you can see here, clear as day.
Let's head out.
49 speed against 44 speed. Carla is going to get doubled. She was going to get doubled even without Guardian's Bow's effect. But you can tell it's in effect because 62 attack on 29 defense.
Well.
Now here we have
More fun.
Norn. Norn has 45 speed and 49 speed in combat.
Agreed.
Luckily, Igrene takes into account base value speed. So she has more base value speed than Norn, so she already gets her Guardian's Bow's effect. It doesn't even matter if she had more speed than Norn in combat, which is good. You can tell it's an effect, of course, because she's taking 24 when she should be doing like 29.
Let's head out.
Now,
Yes.
we have my Lonku here with 51 speed.
Well.
He doesn't get doubled. It's too fast. But we're going to put my Peony here, whose Flower of Joy gives +3 speed and attack to any ally in cardinal directions of her. And now,
Agreed.
boom. Thanks to the power of the developers actually buffing a unit, Igrene can do this kind of stuff now. She takes into account in-combat speed, which is just wonderful. She has 52 speed in combat, and at that point the check happens and Lonku gets his speed dropped by 5. Oh boy. It really needed to happen. The only other case where I can see where I know a character actually got buffed was Legendary Azura, which I wish did not happen. I hate her. I hate dealing with her.
Well.
So yeah. So that's pretty much how this works. The example I was supposed to show was actually involving me using my Astro Blessed Igrene, because that's one doesn't actually has less speed than this one because I actually gave her Dragon Flowers. But that's fine, you guys get the point. But basically, if one of them had more speed than the other, in one way or another, it would have affected them both. They both would have been hit with -5 to both of their stats, and they would have just not doubled each other, which is fine. So yeah, now Igrene has been buffed. You can use her with units like Brave Lucina, or just drive speed in general, and it will affect her weapon, which is great. I believe we're getting compensation, we're getting orbs as like an apology tomorrow on the 9th when the new banner unit characters come along. So with that is pretty much everything that this update had to offer that interested me. Other thing I want to note is Heroic Grails. We have Cormag and Brunya now. Cormag, he's a good Lance unit. It's just that we already have a ton of Lance units that we can summon, and there are also Lance units right here that we can use summon with Grails. Only competition I would say, really, if you're looking to summon one with Grails, is Igrene here. She has a lot of res. She can get some good defense. If Igrene has a lot of res, she can do things like debuff people with certain skills, like deploys or sabotage. I think Flyers get sabotage skills. You know, I think that's like the only real competition, because she can do what he can and a little bit more. But he's also a good unit. I 5-starred him. I enjoyed using him whenever I do. Brunya is an incredible unit, really. Her weapon, the Fimbulvator, gets rid of debuffs, so if you have to deal with like a Igrene, I guess, who manages to debuff her and her high res, she's gonna say no to that anyways and get +4 to her stats. And also, if she's under 100% HP, which is really good. Brunya is a really good unit. If I wasn't already working on Delphia, who's +5 now, I would work on Brunya. She's that good. I just like Delphia a bit more, and I've already spent enough on her. It's +5. I gotta finish that, right? But that's enough from me. If you all enjoyed this video, please leave a like and let me know what you think of this update. And until next time, take care, everyone.